Bitcoin on the weekly has had now some nice moves, rising out past this 18 average. And within charts, I like to say to myself, what does the message of the market state? And one of the key things that has been stated in poker is what is the story of the hand, the story of the situation? How does it make sense to you? And I look at this story as in the market has made a bullish correction and it is an attempt to leave it. Bullish as in it's in a rising 18 average, and of course it's trading within it. When price action leaves it within such, there's your attempt to have a new leg higher, new all-time highs, those kinds of deals. And that's what it's looking like it's wanting to do. It has pulled off a decent amount from the 18 average, so it could come back in here and it's going to keep this bullish trend. The 18 average of lows nicely significantly above where it hit before. These are all nice factors that I'm looking within this market. A minute and 20 some odd seconds in, and I normally do an intro to start the video, and then I do my montage to end the video. And just because I feel like being a little bit different, I am going to do the opposite. So thank you for tuning in to this evening's long video amongst crypto trading and all that kind of fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed it or will enjoy it. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye-bye. Which is something I say in a few of my videos at the end. Bye-bye. Because back in the day, and I'm going to put a link to this video. This was a skit that I watched live sometime around midnight or 12:30 in the morning one Saturday night. I used to watch Saturday Night Live all the time, at least during this generation with Adam Sandler, and in this case, David Spade. And when that skit came out, I just couldn't help but doing the bye-bye over and over and over again. So it's kind of incorporated within the video. So I'll do the intro at the end of this particular video. And when I started trading cryptos at the earlier part of the year, with Bitcoin prices at 1,000 and barely going above and below and all this movement in here, I kind of figured something like that was going to happen, that they would just keep a secular bull market in place. And I can think it's going to continue on as we move forward into 2018. I was also thinking too that I could probably do relatively well just buying and selling these altcoins. And I was also thinking at the same time that when you think about it, scalping, trading these altcoins, that's going to be a very difficult thing to do, mainly because your base currency is so bullish. In the stock market, it's a much different story when you're trading fiat currency. So I want to get a little bit into that within this episode. Let's put the daily up. And since it has broken this last significant resistance level, making a higher low within the band, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up days in a row. It looks like today's session now closed was a minuscule down day, but whether it's barely up, barely down, that's a break-even day, pause day in my book. I see the market as its price, at least with decent vision, that it's lower than here, but also with decent vision, that's a matching high in my book. That's a matching high. The actual difference on the Bitstamp exchange equates to over $70, $49.80 before, $49.10 in this particular spot. So it's pulled back from those highs, just a small amount. But I also see, just like the 18 average on the weekly chart, that the small pullback is a fine thing to endure. That something like this would be the case too. 44.50 looks like the obvious place to where it came back from, to where a low I would think would come in. It's where the 18 average is rising up towards, but the key is always going to be making the higher lows. And is it ready for that? Maybe. But the key noticeable level is that 5,000. If you see holding staying at the 5,010, 20, 30 level for more than a couple or 3 hours, then the alert bells should be coming into play. There's a decent thing that it's going to be decent chance it's going to roar from there. If you see price action have a nice 1+% gain from that level, 5,070 to 5,100. Alert bells again should be going off that there's going to most likely, with probability odd analysis state, decent significant gains over most likely what would be a short period of time, with alerts of possible monstrosity type of gains of epic proportions over who knows how long of a reasonable period. That's what I'm talking about, the 6,000, the 65s, and who knows after that. And we're not talking a day or two. You're talking about maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 15 days. And it's not unrealistic to talk about, yeah, let's rip through the fives, even well past the 6,000s, and let's do it in a couple of weeks or 3. Totally in the realm of possibilities. Sort of like when you break 3. That's a good week and a half or 2, going from 3 to 4,500 and gaining 50%. That's the type of alert I would be mentioning about. Let's switch this off to the 30-minute time frame and talk about some technical analysis. How many times was this 4840-ish area used as significant resistance? Well, it came up to it here, pulled back down, number 2, and then it pulled back lower, number 3, number 4. I'm going to count this at 1 because it didn't really pull back much in here. It tried to get there and here, but the lower high resulted to a higher low, and then the significant break out above. Oftentimes from failed moves can cause fast moves in the opposite direction, but the pattern is, I've seen this, both the polar opposite of this and this, I don't know how many times I've seen this, where an established key level gets taken out to noticeable proportions. Doesn't get taken out for that large of a leg, but it's noticeable. Any type of square rectangular like this can do the trick almost every single time. And then it pulls back to its congestion area, which is this red candle in here. And then even usually quickly after that would break through the opposite end key level, which we can see is where current price action is in now at 47.50. It has had a small move to 47. So when I say a key level, oh, that area of support's now a big area of resistance. Well, here's where it stands. It's resisting this point now. And it's at the point where if this thing can endure some time without going down, the 18 averages will meet up with it. Thus, a successful time correction. Didn't know what word to use there, although I kind of did. Or the market will rally maybe an additional % or so and move into this 18 average area. Now it's within a price correction. But, I mean, this is all short term. Whatever happens is going to happen. I put myself in a position as a trader to leave emotions out of the game, never put myself in any situation that can really get me into any real trouble. And I'm always going to nitpick my play whether it's good or it happens to be bad. As a few days ago, this is the 4 hour time frame now. I was basically stating on one of my videos, I think it was on the 2.5 minute warning, but one of them, and nonetheless, that with Bitcoin Gold coming out, that what my plan for the month of October is to accumulate Bitcoin and distribute altcoins. That was the plan. So this is where you're happy and this is where you're not happy. You're happy that you sold a bunch of this coin that got its ass kicked bad. I won't say which coin that was, but a lot of them did really bad. You sold a bunch of this, a bunch of that, and a bunch of that. But you could have sold a bunch more of this, that, and that as well. And then the altcoin market's just going down, down, and down, and down over the last few days. And I noticed my bankroll is going down in Bitcoins because the altcoins that I do have are going down. But I'm also realizing, I could have been down more if I didn't sell off what I did. And I already had a decent percentage of my portfolio outside of alts, at least what I would consider such. And then even yesterday, when I'm looking at all of these altcoins going down, I'm like, man, I just got to buy. And this is the Neo chart. I didn't buy this one. Probably should have. But when I'm seeing these markets at the lower ends, a key leg lower than where it came from, I'm like, man, I just think it's a good idea to buy some and just trade a little bit of it. But then I say to myself, well, here's what's going to happen. Either it's going to be correct and these altcoins, at least as we move into the next couple of days on this week, are going to rally. I didn't buy that much yesterday. I bought a bit, but I bought a lot less than what I've been selling off up to yesterday. It's been hard now to sell what I got because everything's down so much and you already sold a bit and you want to get some decent rallies from these down moves before I go into my next round of selling. But you can see within this Neo chart, this has been requested, so I'm going to show this. This is a situation where previous support has become this manner of resisting. It's now holding on to the 18 average of lows. If I'm a speculator and I want to buy, if I'm really greedy and I want to take whatever best price I can get, I probably wouldn't buy until it comes back down to this low. But realistically, I usually wouldn't want to buy until there's a decent leg lower from previous low. But if you're going to make all your assumptions on one chart showing you about 1 month of data, you're going to be deprived of what the daily chart would show. It shows an extreme volatile chart that thus gives you high risk, high reward. Because if this thing has a decent down move, it's only going to lose about 60-70% of its value. But if it has a decent up move, it's probably only going to gain 2, 3, 4, 500% on really good ones. And its previous high is close to 100% gain from where it stands. Its message of the market had this key support level in which was tested. It's maybe a level if you want to buy at the cheapest. Do you know what this might be? An area you might want to look for. I have a rule of thumb where if a market establishes a key support like this and it has a good rally from that point, that gives it some air. This, of course, being the air, this point in here, meaning it has a good enough rally, which is what the case is. And if it does come back towards this point, then I would expect that it's a good both bullish and bearish scenario in that if price action executes to this point, then by buying here, I realize that whether I choose the strategy to sell for a lower high somewhere in here, which would give me very good risk reward numbers, or it's something I want to accumulate and get the cheapest price I can, I'm probably got a good chance at buying at this low. If I was looking to get into a position and be happy, not be happy it goes lower for cheaper prices, I would say to myself, yes, I want to buy here. Because I'm unsure it's going to go any lower, that's why I'm going to buy. And because I'm unsure that it's the bottom, I want to not buy everything I would like to or intend to at this point, but be ready to buy in case it comes back here. Be ready in case it comes back towards this low, so on and so forth. Now here's Dash on the daily time frame. And after a week and a half of going down every single day, it had a very lame rally attempt. I talked about this before, just it was right before in here. The warning signs, don't be surprised if Dash has a significant down leg. And it did. Key things are the lows. This is going to be big. Yeah, I could make another move in here, higher to this, but it did conclude that leg. And because of such, I was in the trading mode thought of wanting to be a seller. And you say to myself, okay, geez, you sold X percent here. You could have sold it all, I'm saying to myself. I could have sold all the Dash that I had, I wanted to. I probably should have. I mean, it's better I sell some than none. Have I bought some back? Yeah. But I'm also planning on most likely, because my sell bias for the month is most certainly not ending, that when price action meets up within this 18 average band, or more importantly, maybe the 18 average of highs within the 68 level, to maybe consider selling some more towards that point. Maybe if it meets up towards the 66 handle, these are the types of strategies I think to myself, because I think this has got a good chance of continuing throughout this month of October. I am flabbergasted and surprised that the moves came as fast as they did on the early session, or the early, just the last few days. I thought this would have been more along the cases of a week or two from now. Litecoin on the daily time frame has made another match of this previous low, which again means same thing as it did the previous time. When a market has an established level, has a very good move from it, and this was a very good move, that it's both bullish and bearish to buy here. Well, that was a good move to buy here given what happened. And this was a good move in itself. So now that it's here, we're going to see, is it going to be another good time? Because on a bearish situation, where would I expect the market to go? Probably somewhere around here. That's 130. You're buying at 100, 30% gain. How do you do? And I realize that if this thing falters, ho ho ho, baby, I don't think I need to say anything more, but you could have a decent red size down move, or a month of like, OMG, what happened? Why do we have, or a week or so of why do we have these massive down days? Well, that happens. May also point out, when markets are ready to go, and I've said this sometimes, when they're ready to go off, they will just go. So therefore, if you're looking to be, the way I look at it for selling strategies, if this thing's ready to go, then I'm going to want to make sure I have a decent amount of sells in here. Always make sure that if I'm unable to buy back, I'm going to sell at previous high. And then if I'm not able to buy those back, I want to make sure that I have enough to sell where significant new highs would be. And the range, it's at the bottom end of it now, is between the 100 and really a little over the 200 number. So I'd be talking closer to 300 to 350 as where the beautiful sell areas would come into play. Now within the Ether chart, I've been talking about this before, and it did what I thought it was going to do, and that was break below this key support level, and then you're ready to go. Now remember, as I've been stating here, whenever you have a spot where a market comes back and it had a good move, heck, why not buy? Because in here, it had this good move and it had a rally. Comes back after the good move. You know what? It didn't have much of a rally. Had a second turn. Yep, now you have a decent rally. Comes back. Only gets up to the 18 average of highs. Okay. I guess you could have sold something there. And when you see the red candle come back like this after it, that's not a good sign. So I wasn't kidding around when I said, okay, this thing doesn't look weak. Now, it's a scary situation. If you're able to short or bet that it's going to go lower, and then it just goes higher for whatever fundamental reason or whatever situation, and you lose, because that'll happen at times. Or if you sell, you're like, oh my goodness, now I'm going to sell everything, and then I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, why did I sell at the bottom? But then there's times where you do sell at this when it's leaving this band, and you're like, ooh, sweet, good decision. So there's always multiple ways of looking at it. All right, so then welcome. Today is the 10th day of October 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. Everything you do within this video is based on your own risk and own reward. I would normally say let's get started, but this time I'm going to say let's get finished.